I missed the last couple of weeks because I've just had stuff going on, but we're back for Saturday sketch night tonight. And today we're going to draw this little fella right here, the suckermouth catfish, also known as Plecostomus. Uh-oh, already having pen issues. Now I'm confused. I think it's Plecostomus. Had to brush up on my Latin. I've never studied Latin in my life. Be a little bit more than brushing up. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. I got these references gathered already. Back when I used to do Saturday Sketch Night, I would include like the gathering of the references. That took forever. So now I just have them ready to go when the stream starts. But it is important to note the types of reference I gather for these subjects. We want a well-rounded view. We don't just want to like find one image and draw it. We want to understand the fish or whatever it is, the subject. So I like to find a well-rounded view, side view, top view, dorsal view, you know, three-quarter view, close-ups, environment, right? Most of these are in tanks because they're good at cleaning the tank, but yeah, keep that in mind when you're sketching on your own. That's a big thing. It's a skill all on its own, and a very important thing to note. I'm just going to start with the small version, and we're going to do a little thumbnail side view here. Let's break this thing up. I'm seeing, let's take the head and break it up into pieces. So I'm just going to measure. I'm holding my pen up to the fish, and I actually have this thing at the exact same size as my pen on my screen. Very funny. But if it was in real life, you could do the same thing. Just got to find some sort of measuring device. In this case, I'm using my pen. Same length as the fish. And the head is about 1 pen length. So that's how long the head was when I held the pen up to it. Take that again. We got 1, 2, about 3 heads long. Let's check that again here. Use my thumb this time. 1, 2, 3. That's not right at all. So 1, 2, 3. It's about 4 heads long. So if we divide this up into 4 pieces, first let's start by dividing it in half. That's easier than dividing it into 4. And then divide each of those segments in half. Always go big, then go small. Simple, complex. So here's the head. I'm just going to really simply put this in. That's the head. S-curve, straight curve on the bottom, or not even a curve, just straight. I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible at this stage. The tail and the head are about the same length. Just remember that. Lock that away. Doing my best here to just keep this simple, but sometimes that can be tricky. Again, this thing has lots of fins. This needs to be longer, I think. Fall off the page. Let's say the head's about that long. Just adjusting as I go. And also this right here. Okay, that was drawing number 1. Didn't take me long, but I made some measurements that I can now adjust. Okay. Again, we thought that it was about 4 heads long, so I'm gonna put a mark in there, halfway, and here, and here. Okay. We don't want the head to be too big or too tall, so. Slightly more complex this time, but not much. And up top here, got the crest about the same distance of the head almost, the top little arc there, before it swings down into an S-curve. Okay, let's put in the fins. We know there's one that starts right up here. And I think this arc at the top fin, when it's down like that, ends at about halfway through the fish. There are some nice S-curves and things, but I just don't want to get too complicated, so I'm turning all the fins into triangles for right now. Okay. There's also a little tiny diamond-shaped fin right there. And this whisker is about the same length to the eye, just rotated down. Can't see much more detail, so I'm just going to leave it. One, two, three, four. The dorsal and this little one down here do line up. I don't know what that fin's called. But we got a nice simple fish. We could probably manipulate that a little bit if we needed to. Also, the dorsal fin lines up with the base of that. What is that called? The swimming fins. Maybe I should look up some anatomy real quick of a fish. All right, that's all I needed from that. Now we're going to move on and take the next image. And this one's going to be interesting because it's back against like a dark background, right? So we're going to do our best just to see here. Do a small version first, of course. All right, we know it's 4 heads long. So again, divide in half. Divide in half again. Find some of these angles. It does kind of have a blunt nose. Finding like this shovel shape. The next 2 head lengths are kind of square and then taper. Square, taper. And then it has a very thin tail. Maybe we branch this out to 5 heads long. It feels better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just about 5. Doesn't have to be perfect exact. It's just close enough, right? Okay, so its eyes are chilling about here and here. Nice landmark. Right at the base of its head, these fins start. We also know about halfway to the next head length. This dorsal starts. Can't really see it here, but I'm just going to put in a line. Maybe thicken that line weight a little bit. And it ends at 3 head lengths, so that's the end of it there. All right, that's all we can see of that. That one's not too tricky from the top view. but then again, this is kind of a dark image, so we're just taking what we can from this, right? Moving on. I'm happy with that. I guess I could do a slight breakdown here, like add in these planes. I don't need to. I think it looks fine. Okay, let's jump ahead and do this like somewhat 3/4 view. All right, still, we want to do a thumbnail. I'm really trying to get this to stop sliding around on me. Still, we want to try and do a thumbnail, so we're going to start here, do a small version, then we'll do a slightly bigger one. Does kind of arc up a little bit before it comes down again. There's my center line. We have, again, we're going to divide it. It's going away from us, so it's going to get smaller as it goes. Cool. We could create a little contour here, but I'm going to start actually with this wedge shape. Head is going to come down to about here, comes out, and then tucks in. It's like a sharp nose. Right. Boom. Boom. Here's the eyeballs. And then down the tip of the nose. Cool. And we measured here. The dorsal starts halfway up the next spot. So here is let's do the contour first. We'll add in some extra center lines. Okay, and then we'll put in a little tail. Now we can put in some of these extra lines for the fins, branching off some center lines here. Right, let's build this one. It's coming right off the middle. Remind me where this ends. Halfway between that head, so come down here. Right here. This little guy. This pen, like, you kind of have to really push hard. I didn't make this long enough, I don't think. Easy fix. Just as we go. Let's throw in a couple more center lines here just to show this is switching angles as it goes down. Same thing happening in the tail fin here. Branch some of those out. Really deep eyeball crevice underneath here. And we can't forget some of these. Okay. This is like already getting pretty far along for a thumbnail, but I think that happens to me if I like the way my thumbnail looks. I just want to keep going. But we can do a big one now. We'll put the fin right here, right? So nice and light. Again, halfway. There's the head. Come down, thinking form right now, building a form around this. The last bit portion is just the tail. And if I line this up, it's like at where the eye is, so we really need to pull that up. It really tapers quite a lot. One nice big C curve, wrap that up. And this tail. Cool. It's nice solid form. We can throw a couple wrapping lines on here, but we don't need a whole lot. It's pretty solid looking. That's the head. Halfway up, we're going to put the dorsal fin. Start ramp up here. So pull that up, put the fin in. About here. I'm seeing it about this length again, so I'm just going to... Also, it's like one of the malleable aspects of the fish. So I think it's okay if it's not perfectly in proportion, because as the fish moves around, swims around, that's going to change size. So there's a little nose inlet here. It's kind of hard to tell. It's like very good natural camouflage. It looks like rocks. It's almost like a temple here. It's the edge of its face, bony plate. A little bit of flesh that goes up into that. All right, let's get the rest of these fins in. Do a big C curve here, and then an S curve on the other side. And this does wrap up and back a little bit. Another fin starting right behind it. We'll do straight on that one, coming into a C curve. I kind of wish I hadn't lined those up so perfectly right there. It looks like a tangent, but that's okay. Maybe that'll fall away in the rendering. Okay. There is a little tiny fin down here, but we can't see it. On the back here, this needs to be bigger, I'm thinking. Yeah, that's good. Another easy fix, you can throw on this tiny fin there. Extend out how long tail is. All right. Doodle here. It's like it blends in so well. It's hard to see. I'm kind of getting over this pen. We might have to switch soon, but for now, why don't we find a little focal point here near the front, and we're just gonna fill that in. So let's find the absolute dark spots now. This thing does float around on the bottom, so just kind of a cast shadow. Some ambient occlusion down here. I'm going to draw just a couple rocks, just so it looks like he's on the surface here. Also gives us something to play with. I'm going to kind of just draw the shadow shapes of the rocks, actually. See if we can't make that look good. Little Y shapes and whatnot. Getting there. Don't want to spend too much time though. Also don't want to take away from the detail of the actual subject. But we're about to blast that up with detail, so it should be fine. There's like a camouflage shape that's wrapping. I'm going to find the overall kind of pattern here in shape. Wrapping in mind here. What is going to happen? It's pretty dark up on the nose. Really big shapes over on the side here. Careful not to lose it. It's really thinned out here, so like the color and the outline of the lines are pretty near the same value. So just gonna take it easy here. Make them really wide apart. We're also kind of leaving our focal point. So really easy over here. I'm not worrying so much about like the actual light shining down on it. It's actually pretty evenly lit. What I am worrying about is just the shape and the texture and using that to kind of wrap around the form. So you can actually show form a lot of ways without actually worrying about lighting. Wrapping lines and the way the texture kind of gets distorted as it curves around the form. There are some cool little shapes right here. I don't know if this is a nostril up here. It might be. How are you doing? I'm going to bunch these up into groups of 2, and then in between them, I'm going to put these larger elliptical shapes. And we'll bunch up the roof here with these little tips of the fins. I'm not really sure what those are called. Splines? Spines, maybe? I don't know. But yeah, the trick to texture is to start big, find the larger shapes, and then fill in around them. And always remember to wrap around the form with your shapes. So if a texture looks like this, which this one kind of does, right? It's like this diamond sort of shape. Occasional, there's like a small little one in there. Then when we wrap it around a form, we need to wrap even more, right? Curve those lines. Almost like finding new wrapping lines in cross contours. But we just want to, in general, make our lines curve the same direction, right? So if this is like giving us these end parentheses, then we want to try to pull our texture to match those end parentheses as well. See, and it gets thinner and we have less information near the edges. Up here, though, we just have some interesting shapes here. Again, we're getting close to the edge of our focal point, so I'm not going to worry too much about getting all this perfect up in here. I'm going to break up the texture with these little spines, so I'm going to kind of start a shape and then pull it down a little bit further along the spines. So it kind of looks like it's got a ripple effect to it. Something you see when you like have a fabric that is patterned, right? So you have like something like this. And let's say we have like a line coming up here. We can drop it down and up and down, and it will kind of give this increased illusion, right? That's dropping really far just by breaking up that line. Same thing here. Really cool pattern, actually, that I was a little scared of when I pulled this thing out, but it's not too bad. Again, trying to break this up. Change the orientation of my shape here. As we get further down here, breaking it up more and more away from the horizon, or the focal point. Not worrying about it as much. Now we're going to actually render. flatten out these rocks a little bit and push them away from the value of our fish. Cool. All right, now I'm just going to use a hatch. I'm going to come through and fill in my shapes here. I'm really going to take it one little tiny texture shape at a time. It's almost more of a pattern. It's not really a texture. It's not creating any bumps or disturbing the light. It's just visually has that pattern. All right, I already kind of plotted out this shape as the temple, so I'm going to go a little bit darker on here. The lines I'm putting in here are still following the wrapping lines of the form. Want every line to be as effective as possible. Really want to show off the eye. Lots of contrast right there. Okay, same thing here. Let's wrap around the front of this fin. Want my lines to go back in space. There we go. Still giving us that illusion. Same thing here. Again, getting outside of the focal point, so just leave it. Be simple. Lines in like that. It's good for me. This time I could wrap up and around. I feel like there's nice motion follow the spines. It also kind of emphasizes that there might be more spines in there that I didn't explicitly draw. So I'm just going to hatch with the direction of the spines. It's all about decision making. What is going to tell the story of my subject best. Okay, it gets really dark in here. Just gonna This pen does not write as fast as I would like it to. That's my gripe with it. I'm trying to draw fast. Pop in those areas of ambient occlusion. It really makes a big difference. It's cool. little spots here just for some interest. Go back over and clean up contour. I just want to connect. Those a little more. Which we might need to hit it a couple times. Beef up that. Nice. Sweet. Cool. Let's do another angle. Move on. There was like a good close-up of the head that I had. Why don't we grab that? So there is a nose up there. And there's a gill here and there. I like it. Cool. This thing's kind of frog-like. This is why we like to have multiple references, is like, because I gathered this reference, I can actually see what's going on and modify my first sketch that doesn't have that detail to like show more clearly info about the subject that I'm drawing. So if that doesn't convince you, I don't know what will. Draw more. Find more. Okay, same thing here. Let's practice a couple things here. Let's start with a new pen for one. I'm not digging this thing. Yuck. Goodbye. How about this? Probably going to be way darker than what I was just using, but it's fine. Very strange eyeball. Finding these big shapes first. Comes up and back. Okay, we got the nose. It's a strange looking thing here. It sticks up like so. And there is technically like some structure here that I have not been including. Sort of a shape like so. Pen's dying on me. Switch pens once again. How about this? Maybe this thing's not dying. All my pens are dying. All right. Here we do a really fast render on this head. I think honestly it could have been a little bit deeper, maybe. If we wanted it to, but it's okay. The light source is coming from the side, which casts really weird shadows, but I'm just going to go ahead and render around the top like this. Creative Dragon Ling. Welcome, 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 welcome. Thank you for the kind words. We're doing Saturday sketch night. I'm trying to do it almost every Saturday. I've been kind of busy the last few, but I do record them and bring them up on YouTube. You can sketch along, get some feedback at the end if you like. But we pick a different subject every week and just kind of tackle it, try to figure out ways to sketch it that are effective. Sort of figure out a methodology as we go. So this week is the Plecostomus suckermouth catfish, the old tank cleaner. But yeah, start out with kind of a form-based breakdown. Maybe we'll do some like shapes next. Try to make it like really simple and almost cartoony. See if we can't come up with some cool ideas like that. We'll see. I'm getting a little hungry. I might need to take a break soon, but that's a problem for a while from now. What were you up to on your stream? Kind of doing these loose hatch marks here. There's like a very like speckled pattern to this thing. I don't want a stipple ever. So anything I can do to kind of emulate that texture, I'm going to do. So I'm just doing these little bunches of tiny hatch marks. Try to give that illusion. I don't know how well it's working, but that's okay. Fill in these shapes that I drew. Some bunches of value. Some more down from the top here. I mean, it's like good. It's obviously like learning how to use form is good, but like once you know how to use it, this is just kind of like building your vocabulary, your like visual library. What can I draw? What do I have in my brain? You know, and that's an ever-changing thing because we're always drawing different stuff. But you know, the more you do this, the more comfortable you will be approaching everything else, right? It's like everything we draw is a stepping stone to something else that we haven't drawn yet, and it'll make it easier to understand and draw it. So I'm all about drawing everything. This pen is also drawing out on me. Let's finish up this page. Then I might try and go get some fresh air. Fancy that. Switching to a fine liner. This is kind of blurry. That's okay. Nose. Why is this sliding so much? I'm going to draw my center line. Eyeball over there. Eyeball over here. Got a little nose thing right there. There's his temple. Keep calling it that. It's not actually his temple, but that's how I'm remembering the shape of it. We are going to run out of room. That's okay. Let's build the center line out. Let's change it, actually. Make the center line go that way, and then we won't run out of room as easily. There's one. It's like not exactly what I'm seeing, but that's okay. It's close enough. Basically, everything we just did again. There's kind of some ridges here that I noticed before. It's cool. All right, we can see a little bit of a fin. Just that much of it. So that my eyeball make sure the eyeball contour, sorry, my brain just wandered there. Make sure the eyeball contour is stronger. Shows the overlap a little bit clearer. Let's put in some of this texture. What's up, Torb? You don't have to yell at me. Go a little bit deeper on the texture on this. Kind of double lining it so it looks like there's space in between. What's up, buddy? You want to come sit on the desk? Well, what if I don't want you to do that? Do I get a say in the matter? Nope. Not a very considerate cat I have raised. Okay, let's add in some value here. I'm gonna go up and over the nose of the fish to begin with. Really thin lines just to fill in this. All right, I'm just gonna come back through and try to clean up and enforce the contrast in the front area, and then we'll be good. Clean up some of my hatching soon. Do some exercises. Cool. All right. If anybody is drawing and wants to throw in their sketches into my Discord, you're welcome to do so. But here's my drawing. I will be uploading this to YouTube. Thanks for watching. I will see you maybe next Saturday. What am I doing? I don't think I have anything on the docket, so